Hey, Real Green Ninja here. The video you're about to watch is a supplement to the existing tutorials and help videos already available on the Real Green website. I do take a more casual approach because I'm presenting this information as I would if you called in, although I may have a little fun with it. This video is based upon the information I, as a Real Green technician, would provide using my experience on the help desk. This video was created on my own time to assist with areas of the software that may be waiting for an official help video or tutorial. At the beginning of the training video, I will have the version of the Service Assistant the video was made with. I will also try to be as accurate as possible, but be aware, as Service Assistant updates are released, things may change. I'm using the name Real Green Ninja as not to stand out from the other amazing technicians that I work with. I hope the information in this video helps you, so grab a cup of coffee, and I hope you learn something new. Hey, Real Green Ninja here. Today we're going to talk about how to set up and use property evaluations. Some people also use these as mid-season property evaluations to keep track of how the work is doing on the lawn. So let's go ahead and begin. The first thing we want to do is we want to create the evaluation form itself. Now, you can modify your own. You can, or modify one of the ones we have in the system. You can create your own. Again, as with everything in our software, it's very, very flexible, but you do have to put the effort in to actually design it. So in your main essay folder, there should be a file called, or a folder called templates. Now inside the templates folder, you'll see that we actually have some property evaluation templates in there. Now we have a blank legal size and a blank letter size. So obviously, depending what size paper you're going to use, you're going to just pick which template you want to use. Now, I'm going to be using the legal size for my demonstration. So if we take a look at the blank one, you'll see that there's some shaded areas, this blue shaded areas, and then the white areas is where you actually can put in stuff. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, you'll see there's a little white box here as well, and again, I'll show you what that has, what that's for in a little bit. But again, like I was saying, as you see the property valuations here, and then you can create your own. Now, there is going to be some effort into it. It took me probably about 10-15 minutes just to design this one, because you're going to want to create your property evaluation in Microsoft Word, import in the system, take a look at a preview on an example customer, make sure everything looks good. Now once you've made it and it's in the system and everything looks good, you're good. Okay, you don't have to keep doing it over and over again. But it will be trial and error just to get it to look good in the first place. So like I said, it took me about 10-15 minutes to do this one. And you'll see I have things like holes in the wall, cracked broken windows, trapdoors that need to be serviced. But down here I can put things like, please sign me up for, and then put in the different services and stuff, and then maybe have a signature line or something like that. So again, there is going to be some trial and error because you got to make sure that placements were correct. So like I said, you got to play around with it a little bit. But once you create your form, or if you decide to use one of the pre-existing ones, then what you can do is you go to Data, Company Parameters, and Estimate Forms, because you're going to be importing these just like you would an estimate form. So once we go to the estimate form setup, you'll see that we have a couple property evaluation already in the system. Now, if yours isn't in the system, you can still use the same FRXs. But you'll see here, the property evaluation legal uses PRP-EVLG.FRX. And you'll notice someone's already added something to that. But this is the important thing. Just like estimates, I want to make note of what the name of the FRX file is, because this is the telling the system how it's going to be using what I'm importing. So I'm going to create new. I can do PRP-EVLG.FRX. And then, just like many other things in the software, I'm going to go to my Microsoft Word document, Control-A for select all, Control-C for copy. Once I've copied it on my computer's clipboard, I can now click inside this area right here, do Edit, Paste Special, Picture Meta File. Again, that Picture Meta File we all know and love. And then you're going to give a title. So I'm going to call it, RGN Prop Eval. All right. Now, and then when I hit save, now my property evaluation's in there. Now, again, like I said, you may have to go back and forth quite a few times just to make sure everything looks right, but once it's in there, it's in there. Okay? So, now that we've created the property evaluation form, now we have to create the property evaluation service, because you will be posting production. Now, you're not going to charge for this, so we're going to be setting up as a service call, but you're going to be posting production on it, so you can put in those conditions that you see. So, let's go ahead and go to Data, Product Parameters, Services Program Specials. Now, once we're in Services Program Specials, we're going to go to the Services tab and hit New. We're going to give it a code. So let's see, PRP. Okay, seems PRP is a common abbreviation for property, or you might call it VEVAL, or again whatever you want to call it. And you're going to give it a name. Or you might call it mid-season property evaluation if it's a mid-season one. Again, you're going to give it, something that you guys know what it means. Now down here, I'm going to mark it as a service call. This is, oh, I got to do special, I got to do type here real quick, special job there. You got to mark it as a service call. That's the important thing, okay? Because again, it's going to be added to the customer's screen just like a job. And you're going to be pulling, when you pull your work on the invoices, you're going to be pulling the evals as well. And I'll show you how to pull the evals in a moment. But like I said, it is going to be a service on the customer screen. Now, again, you're probably going to do it once. You can also will indicate special job, and we're not too worried about the size simply because, well, we're not pricing it, so we don't have to worry about putting that in there. Now, once you have that in there, you're going to hit save, okay? And now we have the property valuation service. Now, you'll notice there's nowhere in here telling it what evaluation to use or what form to use. So, but like I said, once you create the service, you're going to be adding them to the customers. Now, if you're pretty much doing all your customers that have lawn care, like because it's a lawn care evaluation, then what you can do is you can go to Reports, Customer List by Program Job. And as with any report I go into that I'm not quite sure how it's been ran before, I like to reset it by hitting that Clear Report Criteria. We're going to select what program or service we want to do the evaluations for. So, for example, if I want to do evaluations for everyone that has a lawn care program, then I can go ahead and mark it looking for lawn care program. I always recommend doing a preview just to make sure that you got the right group of customers. So right here I got about 21 customers, and my customer base on it, that's about right. So once you do that, then we can do an export to mass service assignment utility. Now again, this is one of those things where you might want to have a manual data backup made, or you might want to give us a call if you're a hosted customer and get one made, or if you don't know how to make one, you can give us a call and we can help you out. But we're going to export to mass service assignment utility because instead of going to each individual customer and adding that evaluation, we want to add it to all of them in one fell swoop. So I'm going to hit OK to export. It's going to tell me the records were exported. Now I can go to Tools, Utilities, Program Job Utilities, Mass Service Assignment. Once we're in Mass Service Assignment, I'm going to tell it I want to add a job, and I'm going to select that eval, that property eval job that I created. So I'm going to come down here. There's my property evaluation. I can give it sources and so on and so forth. But again, this isn't a sale. This is just something we're going to go through and add so we can pull the property evaluations when we're pulling invoices. But we do want to come down here and make it active because, again, we want to be able to pull it. We're also going to make sure we do it for active customers. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I apologize. We want to use it for existing file because there's those 21 customers we did the export for. Now, if you want to add it to everyone, then you don't have to do the export. You just come in here and just add it to all your customers, depending on status and stuff. But like I said, we're going to use the existing file. We hit Perform. It says, are you sure? Do a data backup again. If you don't know how to do one, or if you're hosted, give us a call. Otherwise, just have a data backup made. Let it do its thing. I'm going to tell you it's done. Now, if we go into those customer screens, let's see if I can find. You'll see that they have this PRP service. Okay. Again, there's no pricing because we're not charging them for an evaluation. All right. Now, once we have all that done, when we're ready to pull our property evals, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the invoices screen. And then under the invoices screen, we're going to select what service we're planning to go out there and do for that day. All right, so for example, if we're mid-season, we're pulling round 3. I'm just going to pull 1, 2, and 3 because I got my customers are kind of set up weird. Not all of them have all their services done. But again, you're going to select what service you're going to do. And again, it's probably going to be like round 3 or maybe round 4. Again, you're going to select whatever service you're planning to go out there at the time you want to do when you want to plan to do the evaluation. Like I said, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 right here just so I can make sure I got my customers. Now, down here, you're going to print out your invoices, or you can put your driver's report or worksheet, but you'll see we have a property eval tab. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to select that property eval. We're going to tell it what a service we're using for the evaluation. Again, this time we use the PRP. We're also going to select our form, and this is the estimate form, or the estimate setup where we put it in there. And there's our RGN prop eval. Now, once we have all that selected, I always, again, recommend preview before printing just to make sure everything looks right. And again, this is also how you would check to make sure that the property eval is right. But you're going to hit your Get Invoices button here. And again, you'll see this kind of a mix of 1 and 2. Because like I said, I don't actually go out and do it in service properties. So I need to make sure I can at least grab some people to show. And there's 15 people that have services. Now, again, this property eval was added to 21 customers. But it's going off of what we're pulling for today. All right, so these are the people that are on the that we're going to go out and do today that have that service, as well as we're telling it to print the property eval if they have that PRP service. All right. Now, one thing I'm going to do is, like I said, if you want to check to make sure everything looks right, you're going to select only one customer, and then you can do previews and make sure everything looks okay. But again, once you're ready to actually go out and do it, then you're going to route like you normally would and print them out. So like I said, let's go ahead and do a preview here. I'm going to do its thinking. All right, and you'll see it's going to generate the invoices first. And again, this is the invoices that you'd normally go out there and do for the customer. Now, as soon as I close this, what it's going to do is it's going to show us the property evaluation previews, and you'll see that it's printed. It's going to print their history and everything just like it would on an invoice. But down here is where I put that information on my Word document and then import it into the system under the estimate subscreen. And you'll notice down here, again, like I said, you could put something like, please sign me up for, maybe have a signature line. And this is the part I was talking about you kind of have to play around with just to make sure everything looks good. Again, once it's in there, you're all set. It's just you got to make sure it looks good in the first place. So again, there's going to be 2 batches of printing, simply because one batch is going to be the invoices, and then it gives you the opportunity to change the paper in your printer and then print out the evals. And then all you have to do is just take the eval for the customer and then stick it with their invoice. If you want to staple them together, that's fine too. But again, just make it so you can go out there and do it. Now you'll notice the property values also have a barcode. So let's go ahead and do a fake print on this. So again, we're going to go ahead and select the print option. We're going to hit OK. It's going to ask us who we're going to assign and all that stuff. Real Green Ninja, okay. It's going to ask us the printer, but again, to save paper, I'm going to send it to the XPS document writer. I've done a video on a fake print if you ever want to check it out. This is how you can make the system think you printed something without actually using paper or ink. I'm just going to save it under invoices because, again, remember, the invoices are going to print first. And then it's going to do its thinking here. And now it's going to ask me to where I want to send the evaluations. Again, this is why it's in 2 batches, because it gives you the chance to change out that paper. Because you're probably not going to be printing your property value on invoice paper. It just wouldn't look right. So again, I'm going to choose Microsoft XPS document, but now I'm going to call this one Prop Eval. Hit save, and there we go. And if we take a look at my desktop, you'll see I have invoices and property value. Now, going back to Service Assistant here, you'll see it says some service has scheduled dates. Again, it's one of those things where if you don't care about the scheduled date to be updated to the assignment date, click no. If you do, click yes. I'm just going to go ahead and click no for right now. We'll let it do its thinking. Oops, didn't mean to expand it out. There we go. Let's minimize this back. It's got a little early in the morning today. I think it's like 6:20 right now. I don't know. It's one of those things. I woke up this morning. I'm like, I think I might do 1 or 2 of these videos, just get them taken care of. Because again, just like with engineering stuff in Service Assistant, once I've done it, it's done. You guys have that information. So again, I'm going to grab those. I'm going to move these off to the side so I can see them, even though you can't. So again, as I was saying, is now we have 2 batches of paper that's been printed. One with the invoices, one with the property evaluation. Now, like I said before, what you're going to do is you're going to take your your invoices, and again, this would be the invoice that got printed out. Of course, I don't have it. Again, it's just showing me what it would be printed out, so you don't see the different colors and stuff like that. But again, what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to either staple it or again, you're going to pretty much what they call collating. You're going to collate it so that way, the paper pages are together, so that makes sure your technician is able to do the evaluation for the right property. So again, see here's the barcode. Now, one thing you may notice is that the barcode for both the property eval and the invoice are the same, because again, you're going to be entering this information when you go to post-production. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to move this down to the side. Okay, so again, go out to the property, you do the service. Now, you may print property evaluations just without actually doing services. You can do that as well. Again, you just wouldn't pick any particular service, and then you go out and do the property value. But like I said, most of the time people do them mid-season, so that way they can go out and spray round 3, and then also, since they're already out there, do that evaluation. Once they come back to the property, or once they come back to the company, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the production screen, and you're going to type in the invoice number. And again, I got my invoice number. We're just going to do the first one right here, which is 12572. 12572. it's going to ask me which of these two do I want to do first. So again, I'm going to put in, my early spring application. You're going to just process it like you normally would any other service, chemicals, so on and so forth. If you use a little bit more, a little bit less, let's say we use 15 ounces, whatever. Put that in there, hit save. Oh, got to do my done date. Let's say it was done today. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, actually, that was yesterday. Oh, let's say it was done yesterday. Hit save. And then now it's going to ask you to enter the information for the property evaluation. And this is where you're going to put in things like you saw bare spots on the lawn. You're going to give it the rating. Again, you're going to go through and put in the information that your technician put on that property evaluation, or that you put on the property evaluation. Once you have it in here, hit save, and then post. And then, of course, you can preview your export. I'm going to go ahead and cancel, hit yes. And now, if we go back to that customer's account, which is 31753. There we go. You'll see the property evaluation is posted in production. And again, now, if we go to the history tab, that property evaluation, the condition codes and stuff are now part of that person's property. And you can always run reports against condition codes and so on and so forth. So, like I said, you set up the property evaluation, you put it into the system using the estimate, you set up utility, you're going to create the service for the evaluation, and then when you run your invoices, you're going to tell it that we're going to do this service, we're planning to go out there today and do that, and then also we're going to select our property evaluation. Keep in mind, the property evaluation service does have to be checkmarked as a service call to be able to show up on this list. So, I hope this helps. Again, a lot of people do these around mid-season. It's April 25th right now, so again, this is about the time when people might start be doing some of these because they're getting out there ready to do rounds 2 and 3. Again, each company is different, but like I said, hope this helps, and you guys have yourself a wonderful day.